All right, this is a major, interesting coverage. It happened on April 9th. It flew under my radar, and a lot of people have been talking about it across the political spectrum. And it has to deal with Twitch. Twitch is in some serious trouble because apparently, as it stands, the CEO was recorded by an employee because he made the controversial decision to unban Aiden Ross. Now, many of you might be wondering, well, gee, Kit, why are you talking about Twitch and internet drama? Well, Twitch is a major streaming platform. And yes, there are streamers on Twitch that have a lot of influence. Most notably, you got people like Hassan Piker, for example, who was able to have a sit down interview with Bernie Sanders and AOC. And then, of course, you got people like Asmongold, who's been growing in covering, current events and local politics. But see, the thing is, as we have mentioned before, Twitch is owned by Amazon. And as many people have noticed, Twitch is hemorrhaging and hurting because of their insane policies, their double standards, and overall how they've been running their business. Now, YouTube, major heavyweight in the game. Kick is also challenging Twitch, as are other streaming platforms. And see, the thing is, Twitch is now realizing, and if this is the case for Twitch, if they have to bring back streamers so that they could get views and eyeballs on their platform, it tells me that they have no solid business plan and they are desperate. And a Twitch CEO is desperate. And apparently, because of all the 8 years of cancel culture, canceling people, deplatforming people, I guess the staff of Twitch is more like, oh, why are you bringing back Aiden Ross? Because Aiden Ross says, in the past, like, I get it, not everyone's, look, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but Twitch has a lot to answer for. So there we go. So what happens? This was from a meeting that took place in Twitch. This is an article from Aftermath, but it's very interesting. At the tail end of March, over 2 years after being given the boot from Twitch, Aiden Ross was suddenly unbanned. This came as a surprise to many viewers and not a pleasant one. Whatever. Ross' first tenure on the platform came to an end in early 2023, not long after being cozy up with the likes of professional misogynists and assault trafficking allegations magnate Andrew Tate. Things did not seem on track to improve, with Rolling Stone was a couple of months after Ross' Twitch suspension that he platformed an anonymous neo-Nazi on Kick. As recently as October of 2024, he platformed white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who proceeded to engage in Holocaust denial during the broadcast, as he is wont to do. Whoever wrote this needs to fix this. Ross was also accused of Nazi saluting some fans earlier this year, which is the same year he swore he'd turn over a new leaf, at least in regard to chat moderation. I feel defeated trying to even repair. Wow, who wrote this article? Trying to even repair things. The correct way to quote him was, I feel defeated trying even to repair things or explain stuff because there's no explaining, Ross said on Twitter. Oh my God, who wrote this article? This is like a 5-year-old wrote this. After the quote unquote Third Reich high five. There you go, right? Clip originally from earlier this year went viral in March. I'm pictured the way I'm pictured, and it sucks. Sorry to everyone I have failed. It is not difficult to imagine why Twitch employees, like Twitch viewers, were upset that Ross has been permitted to return to his old, significantly more visible stomping grounds. After all, his recent actions do not exactly scream reform. During a Twitch all-hands meeting that took place last week, of which Aftermath has viewed video, one employee voiced their incredulity to Twitch CEO Dan Clancy. So why is this important? First of all, when Aiden Ross was kicked off, he obviously that's a major blow to any content creator, especially if you're shadow banned. And look, a lot of these Twitch streamers, they got their fair share of drama surrounding them. Okay, if you're going to be in this business, it's going to be flying around you no matter what. But Aiden Ross was also then involved in Kick. Now, why am I bringing up Kick? It's because Kick has been adapting and changing and responding to Twitch's stagnation. And in turn, while Kick might be smaller than Twitch, they're bringing in more viewers every day. They're diversifying their accounts, and they're also growing at an alarming rate that is challenging Twitch's overall monopoly in the live streaming community. Now, is it enough to overstep with YouTube? That's to be seen. But here's what's happening. And this is how you know Twitch CEO Dan Clancy is cooked. What evidence did you evaluate that Adin Ross had reformed enough since his ban to justify him being unbanned? An employee asked. To be transparent, this is one of the decisions we've made that I've disagreed with the most. I strongly believe that this opens the wider community to harm and sends a signal that we will allow the sort of vitriol Adin has been known to perpetuate. There's been other Twitch streamers that have been worse than Adin Ross. Okay, that's what hey, Twitch, you got other people on your platform who do far worse. Now, Clancy largely replied in platitudes and rule speak, which we'll get to in a second. But the last part of his response is most interesting. So let's start here. I can say this emphatically to everyone. This is in no way, shape, or form based upon any business considerations whatsoever, Clancy said during the meeting. This isn't even remotely related to a business. It is related to a business. Why? Because Adin Ross has viewers. Twitch needs eyeballs. The more viewers you have to a video, the more advertisers will want to promote on Twitch. Why is this important? Let's look at Jank's nephew. Jank's nephew recently has been stepping in some oopsies, such as calling, again, he made his statement. I want to be very clear with this YouTube about harm against a U.S. senator. He also had some back and forth with another U.S. representative. And in turn, corporations, being what they are, whether you like it or not, decided to remove their sponsorships and brand deals on Twitch, which hurts Twitch's bottom line. Now, Twitch is owned by Amazon, and Amazon is left holding the bill. That means Twitch is dead weight. They need eyeballs. They need advertisers. And that means if your business needs a streamer, you don't have a lot of options. It is a business decision. At least in my opinion, it's a business decision. It's about deciding about when you can give someone a second chance and then giving them a chance. But if they don't live up to our expectations, we can take action. So in terms of this opening the wider community to harm, I think that if he doesn't live up to our community guidelines, then he won't still be on Twitch, which is, okay, so wait, Twitch, are you now adjudicating things now? Is this how it's done behind the scenes for other major platforms then, like on X or YouTube? Well, I mean, like, really, I do want to know, because if that's the case, I got some questions. This line of thought is worth scrutinizing because it's unlikely that having Adin Ross and his army of disaffected boys back in town is bad for business. Indeed, it could even prove beneficial for Twitch in the long run if the company and Ross play their cards right. For one, Ross is undoubtedly a needle mover. His 2024 kick stream was then president candidate Donald Trump a masterclass in the art of shameless suck-uppery. No, it's not. Adin Ross interviewed Trump and had 580,000 viewers in that kick stream alone. Good God. It is a business decision, not about giving somebody a second chance. Twitch saw that. Dan Clancy saw that. It was like, oh my God, I need those views. For two, the far-right grift is in right now, all across the internet, even on Twitch. Oh, just like the liberal grift isn't? Okay, great. Where Zach Armstrong-Hoyt's daily misses decrying DEI and Democrats have installed him as the new politics king over deposed leftist himbo sensation Hassan, Jank's nephew. Hate is against Twitch's community guidelines unless you know how to word it correctly, right? Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, Ross has crossover appeal. One of the biggest creators advocating for his return from exile is Kai Cenat, live streaming's biggest star of the past few years and a bona fide real celebrity at this point. Okay, well, let's not go too far. Though I guess now the two are maybe beefing over the notion that Cenat didn't try hard enough to help him get unbanned. I don't know, man. It's beyond the point. Ross is also buds with manosphere adjacent luminaries like Jake Paul and UFC president Dana White. Basically, he's terrible, irritating link in a lot of lucrative chains. That's why Dan Clancy wants him back, author. Who's the author of this thing again? Nathan Grayson. Nathan! Listen, Twitch and the internet and live streaming isn't a liberal sphere. It isn't a college liberal arts campus. Okay? It's all about money. Amazon's probably knocking at the door for Dan Clancy and be like, Dan, you're in the red again. You better fix this or we're going to bend you over. That's what's probably happening right now. Anyways, this all reeks of he needs to be canceled. Well, you can't cancel him because Aiden Ross brought in almost more than 500,000 views for his Trump live stream alone. You want to know what the people at Kick probably said to him? Great job, buddy. And you know what Twitch is saying? We need that. But see, as I covered in previous other commentary videos, Hassan's been costing Twitch money. And Hassan had a lot of favoritism, Jank's nephew, with Twitch. And Danny Boy now needs to make a very serious decision. Does he try to appease to the cancel culture, or does he try and save the sinking ship, turn the tanker that is known as Twitch? Going on, if you were Clancy, the head of a company that everybody knows isn't profitable, that everybody knows isn't profitable. Let me say that again. Everybody knows isn't profitable, and that remains in thrall to Jeff Bezos, one of history's most bottom line obsessed overlords, and you are not being disingenuous about your purpose, which is always to make decisions motivated first and foremost by business considerations. You could do quite a bit worse than this. A reminder of Clancy's explanations reiterated his philosophy on the idea of indefinite bans, which he's outlined elsewhere, and which he does seem to really believe in, at least insofar as it allows him to be nominally friendly with everyone, regardless of ideological bent. Aiden's been banned for over 2 years, Clancy said. He's been banned for having a certain number of strikes on his account rather than a singular offense that led to indefinite suspension. It's important to note that these suspensions are not indefinite, not permanent. They've always been thought of as indefinite. Many organizations use indefinite suspensions in basketball. Draymond Green was indefinitely suspended from the NBA and then let back on. On Clancy's watch, Twitch has been allowed indefinite suspensions and the black marks on streamers' records left behind as prior suspensions to expire. Outside of a few select high-severity harms like violent content and youth safety, indefinitely suspended streamers can apply to have their accounts reinstated after 6 months. Clancy said that Ross passed the test. He wants the views. He wants the money. He wants the views. He wants the money. Why is this all important? It's because Twitch is, dare I say it, at a very dangerous crossroad, and they have to make some serious decisions. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that may not like Aiden Ross. Well, too bad. I mean, that's just how it is. But this is the realm of social media. And why we're talking about this is because it says about the bigger picture about what happened in 2024 during that election cycle. What was important about 2024? We saw the beginning stages, and, little did we know what would happen after November 5th of corporate media, the vulture capitalist media outlets, the online platforms that for so long favored the vote blue no matter who talking points of censor, 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 cancel, 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 Trump derangement syndrome. And this is the big pushback. Now, for a time, they were profitable. For a time, there was motivation. But after November 5th and the beating that the liberals, Democrats, vote blue no matter who, and corporate media got, it was a pure, direct strike at the center of their entire model. Nobody was believing their crap, and they went under. And now, CNN, MSNBC, they're hemorrhaging views. People are going to different platforms. And in turn, this is where YouTube, Kick, X have been number one in the game. You want to know who's not number one in the game right now? Twitch. They're in the red, and they're in a full-blown panic, and they need content creators that are going to help boost up their advertising because of the damages that other creators have done. It's not 2016 and 2024 and the years in between anymore. It's 2025. It's a new day. And to that employee who recorded Dan, I mean, I hope you're anonymous and you don't step forward, because that was probably a private meeting that you should not have done. But okay. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. But you can't stop what's going to happen, because if Twitch is not profitable, then it's going to get a knock at the door from Amazon and say, hey, we're shutting this all down. It could happen. Stranger things have happened.